English Premier League, and there will be some very, very big games this weekend. We'll see Arsenal playing Chelsea. Leeds will be playing Manchester City, and Manchester United will be playing Crystal Palace. And we also have Liverpool playing West Ham. We have Bournemouth and Sunderland. Liverpool, West Ham, I already mentioned. Burnley, Brentford, Newcastle, Everton. And this round of games will start with Wolves against Aston Villa. And we'll be looking at the big games, the very big ones. I will start with Arsenal versus Chelsea. This game will be happening on Sunday. It's a very, very important game for Arsenal, but also for Chelsea because Chelsea is trying to get into Champions League position. Currently occupied by Manchester United, even though I think Chelsea is still in the Champions League position because it's 5 teams on the Premier League, right? So Chelsea's trying to seal that Champions League position. That makes it a very important game. And for Arsenal, it's a must-win game. AY, what do you think about this Arsenal Chelsea game?
Hmm. So it's actually going to be a very, very interesting game because some people have said that it's a straight win for Arsenal. I beg to differ. It will be very difficult for both teams because both teams have something at stake. For instance, Arsenal, of course, we are chasing the league and we need to win the league. Same thing with Chelsea. Chelsea are also chasing the top four, or they would like to finish either above Manchester United and above Aston Villa. So we both have what we are chasing, even though opposition fans at this moment would support Chelsea to win or to draw. And we've met 3 times already this season, twice in the cup and the first leg at Stamford Bridge for EPL. We won both legs and we drew at Stamford Bridge. I guess we should have even lost the game at Stamford Bridge because you guys even played way better with Caicedo out, and we had to draw that game. But in the cup, we won 3-2 at your home and 1-0 at the Emirates. So it's going to be a very, very difficult game. Recent form from both teams. Chelsea, they drew their last match. How they drew against Burnley
Two,
is still,
actually.
yeah, their last 2 matches. How they drew against Burnley is yet to be studied. The same way Arsenal drew against Wolves, 19th and 20th place teams. Chelsea drew 1-1 against Burnley, drew 2-2 against Leeds, and both games were at Stamford Bridge. So it begs the question: okay, is it that Rosinio still he has not found his starting 11, or what exactly is happening? But for us now, we are coming off a bounce of a 4-1 win at yeah, it was at Tottenham. It was at Tottenham, not London Derby, and 4-1, 4-1. So it's going to be who is in form. I would say it's us now. But when it comes to debut, you throw form out because this is actually a debut. It's going to be difficult. The same way we thought the Tottenham game was going to be difficult. So what for me would make a huge change or a huge difference would be how Ateta or how Rosinio decides to set up. We know that Chelsea, they are without Kukurea, which is actually going to be a big miss for them, and they're also without Fofana, which is also a big miss for them. So I don't know how they want to set up. Maybe it's Ato left back or Gusto left back, but I know that Chelsea, they are definitely going to miss Kukurea. It's going to be because Kukurea always makes it difficult for Bukayo Saka. Now, Ato versus Saka is something we need to see, or Ato versus Gusto. But I feel Gusto will not give Chelsea a lot going forward if he plays left back. That's my own opinion. But whoever decides to start at left back, I'm sure Bukayo would at least try and play Bukayo or Madueke, but I think he's going to start Bukayo. So key players in this game for us now, it's still Declan Rice and whoever starts at 10. Eze played last week. He scored a brace. So whoever starts at 10 for Arsenal and for Chelsea, either Palmer or Eze or Odegaard, whoever decides to start, or whoever the coach decides to start, will play a very good role. The same thing with Declan Rice and Caicedo. Both of them, they have a huge part to play. And I really hope that Chelsea don't have another red card, because they are like 2 red cards away from breaking the record of most red cards ever in the Premier League. Just 2 red cards away. So I
What
hope
are
they
we
don't have.
going with that one? The relegation?
Red
Uh,
card FC.
so as a round up, I would say for some Chelsea fans, they have 3 missions this season. The first one is to probably win a cup competition. The second one is to stop Arsenal from winning the league, and the third
Yes,
one
that we will do.
and the third one is to qualify for top four. So it depends, but I see Arsenal. It also depends on Arteta, on the
You
formation
have started seeing again. You have started
on the
seeing.
formation on the
What do you
formation he decides
Prophet.
to start. So on the formation he decides to start. I'm sure. Okay, we already know our starting lineup. We already know who starts. It's just who wants to play 10 and who wants to play. Gyökeres will definitely start. Bukayo will start. Declan Rice and Zubimendi will start. We don't know who will play 10 for us now, but whoever or whichever team both sides decide to start, I believe they are good enough to, even Chelsea, it's good enough to actually get a draw, get a win against us now. But I would back my team to win. The only reason why I think Chelsea might struggle would be because they have a weaker bench than us now, and their back four, I don't think the the 4 players have actually played together as a unit. Whoever, like for instance, I don't know who you want to start. Even if it's Tosin or Chaloba and Gusto and James, I don't know if they've started any games together. Both 4 of them, the 4 of them rather. So it's going to be a very difficult game. But I see Arsenal winning. Yeah,
You see us now edging past Chelsea, right?
yeah, I see. I thought.
Brown, what do you think would happen in this London derby between Arsenal and
Hey,
Chelsea? There's no London Metropolitan Police here. Oh.
no. I'm not going to call it any force for Arsenal. I wouldn't do that. I'll let that slide. But let me tell you something. I've been listening to this Arsenal fan saying all of the things he has said, and then ending up with saying that Arsenal would win. But let me tell you something. Let me joggle your memory. If you remember vividly, Chelsea was happy to allow Arsenal win against us. You know why? Because they want them to feel like they are not going to bottle it. That's why they were happy for Arsenal. For Arsenal now, beat Spurs. We know you will beat Spurs to be happy. The purpose we are happy for you is just to make you feel like you will not bottle it. That is one. Number two, but the funny part, Chelsea are always good at spoiling the party for Arsenal. Let me remind you, let me joggle your memory. If you remember, Arsene Wenger's 1000th game against Chelsea, do you know what Chelsea did to him? Then flog at 6-1, 6-0 in fact. Arsene Wenger's 1000th game for Arsenal, 6-1. And if you recall again, the Europa League title that Chelsea won,
For
what
one,
did
have you?
Hazard do to Arsenal in that finals? 4-1. 4-1. After that season, their players started running. They were leaving the club because no hope for any trophy. Fast forward to recent times. Chelsea, yes, you can say they have not beaten Arsenal. The last time they defeated Arsenal was at the Emirates. The last time they even scored a goal at the Emirates was a player in the Arsenal current squad that even scored the goal. What's his name? Noni Madueke. That was the last time Arsenal, Chelsea even scored a goal.
2021.
Yeah, 2021. Madueke. Arsenal. The last time Chelsea scored a goal at the Emirates was even Noni Madueke, who is currently an Arsenal player that scored that goal. But you know something? Arsenal could not beat even the worst team that we have seen in the Premier League so far. A Wolves team sitting bottom of the table. Arsenal could not win them. And the last time Arsenal met with Chelsea, with a red card, Arsenal still could not beat them. Now Chelsea has a chance.
Yeah,
Of course.
you are talking with one side of your mouth. The last time we played them with red card. We played them twice after that, and we beat them both times after that.
We are
So
talking Premier League. We are talking Premier League.
okay, so
In the Prem,
it's not the same Chelsea team.
what is
Continue.
Chelsea playing against Arsenal on Sunday? Is it not Premier League?
Continue.
Stick to Premier League. Stick to Premier League.
Okay,
Now,
stick to Premier League.
Chelsea will have a chance. And I'm going to talk about a position, the position that I think if Chelsea gets it right, they will have a good chance of getting something out of this game. And that is the centre back position. Of course, we know that Fofana has a red card. He cannot, participate in this one. Cucurella is also out injured. But I honestly believe that if Mamadou Sarr, Mamadou Sarr, that Chelsea defender, of course, a centre
Senegalese
back.
player.
Exactly. We know that Chaloba is a starter. He's definitely going to be in that one. And when you look at Mamadou Sarr, in his performance against us in the FA Cup, he was a brilliant player. He has performed. He has been doing well. But of course, you could argue that he's yet to start a game in the Premier League, and bringing him, because he's a very young defender, bringing him into this game against Arsenal strikers that are currently in form is going to be very risky. However, I think the best person that could pair with Chaloba in this game is Badiashile. And I'll say Badiashile because, of course, we can not say anything about it. Yes.
Bring him. Badaji and Tosin,
No,
bring them.
I disagree. But Ashil is not the best pairing for Chalobah.
The reason is because you think Tosin is the best pairing for Chaloba.
Neither is Tosin.
No, we are not saying that Chelsea has even a good player to pair with Chaloba. Nobody is saying that. But my point exactly is that out of the worst players that we have, what is the best worst option? So the best worst option, of course, personally, I will go with Sarr. But I say we cannot start Sarr because Sarr is here to play a Premier League game, right? And he's a very young player. So bringing him into this game to play against Arsenal strikers that are currently in form is not going to be the best, occasion to give him his first Premier League start. And that is why I said, among the bad players, let us go with Badiashile. Because we don't have option. There is no option. So I think if Chelsea is able to get this position right, they probably will be able to get something out of this. I've said all of this about us and Chelsea, right? But then again, take nothing away from Arsenal. Arsenal sits on top of the Premier League table for a reason. And currently, of course, we have talked about how their strikers are yet to get double goals for the season. But now they are beginning to pick form. So you see the likes of Gyökeres getting 2 against Tottenham, then Eze as well, who I think the last time he scored the goal in the Premier League was when I did Tottenham as well. So yes, I feel like the Arsenal team is a very good side. And Chelsea going to the Emirates in the last 5, Chelsea is here to win. In fact, like I mentioned earlier, they only 1 goal. For these reasons, it's going to be a very difficult game for Chelsea, regardless. What I hope will come out of this one, and what I see coming out of this one, because take nothing away from any big team. When they face each other, it's always a tough one, except for Tottenham. So I see this one ending in a draw. I see this one ending in how many I cannot say for sure. I see this one ending in a draw.
Okay. AY, you did not give us a scoreline. What did you think the scoreline would be between Chelsea and Arsenal? Arsenal and Chelsea, rather.
So for me, I think it's going to be 3-1 Arsenal or 2-0 Arsenal because Palmer isn't firing at the moment. The only Chelsea player I'm scared of is João Pedro. That guy is currently in form. He's banging in goals, and he's the only player I know that would actually be in form. Caicedo, however, I think he would be doing more of defending than attacking on Sunday because I'm sure he will be the one that would be given the responsibility to cover the defense. Whoever they decide to pair Badiashile or whatever, whoever decide Tosin. I want to see Tosin. I want to see a combination of Tosin and Badiashile in that.
Why?
I want to see how they defend against Arsenal set pieces. So
No, we will not do that.
So to answer your question, I would say Arsenal 3-1. Yeah.
Okay. Shala, do you want to add something?
I mean, why not? Arsenal, we all thought Spurs, or I thought Spurs was going to at least not do is positing, and
You all thought, not just you.
and starts the new manager bans against Arsenal, but Arsenal put that like to
Put them
bed,
to sword.
like convincingly, 4-1 victory to Arsenal against their biggest rival, their smallest biggest rival, in that sense. So
Tottenham cannot be their biggest rival. Maybe their biggest not London rival.
Not London.
Not London, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course.
they are close. They are close in that. In that one. So I mean, and to be honest, I don't see the rivalry between Arsenal and Chelsea in that sense, because they all the time they share players among themselves. I'm like, what kind of stupid rivalry? What kind of stupid rivalry is that? I mean, even Manchester and Liverpool, we have stronger rivalry, even though we are like in different sides of the country than Arsenal and Chelsea, because they give players all the time. Actually,
Giroud.
yes, now
Madueke.
they just share players all the time. Havertz, yeah. So I don't see them as serious rivals. Yeah, I don't see them as serious rivals. The reason why Klopp can never manage United till tomorrow is because he has managed Liverpool.
Yes.
And vice versa. Yeah, that's the only reason. So I don't really. I think the rivalry is your rivalry. There is on serious rivalry. On serious rivalry. But that being said, I see Arsenal coming on top of this, because even when when Brown was analyzing the fact that Chelsea does not even know the right
centre back
pairing for this kind of crucial match, even tells you everything you need to know. We know it's going to be Saliba. We know it's going to be Saliba and Gabriel. We know, and these people, they understand themselves. We know that Chelsea will probably score due to Arsenal's mistake, and we know that Chelsea's defender will definitely make mistakes. So that tells you like what you need to know. So, but again, you cannot.
Of course, it's a big game.
It's a big game. You cannot underestimate. Chelsea. You cannot underestimate Chelsea. Chelsea beats. I've always respected Chelsea, but I also respect them when they beat the likes of PSG to win the World that stupid World Cup.
Club World Cup.
I want to with Chelsea is one weird thing with them is when you don't expect
exactly
them to
they beat Barcelona. They beat if they're gonna say pick one English team that can really beat anybody across any league in Europe, I'll probably pick Chelsea.
And pick one team that can lose to anybody, it's still Chelsea.
Yeah,
it's still Chelsea.
It's still Chelsea. So that's the edge I see that Arsenal have over Chelsea. So I see an Arsenal win, 2-1. I don't see them winning more than 2 goals margin, but 2-1, 1-0. I think Arsenal will come out on top of this one. Yes, but I mean, if Arsenal decides to, we shall be there. Because
we are there to collect the bottle.
We are there to collect the bottle of tears, Because to be honest, on a lighter note now, I think Arsenal can actually unite the world. I think if there is World War III pending, I think Arsenal as a club, they have the ability to stop that war.
So if Chelsea beats Arsenal, there will be what?
I'm saying if there was going to be World War III, if they're going to say that one club that can unite the world against World War III is Arsenal, if they just choose to bottle the league. Yeah.
A lot of people happy.
You see everybody online just happy and stuff like that. So yeah. But I think Arsenal will win this one. Yeah.
Okay. Just before we go ahead, you can already just move on to the Manchester United Crystal Palace game, Shola.
Manchester United Crystal Palace, the only team that is unbeaten in the last 10 Premier League, I think thereabout, matches is Manchester United.
I don't start.
It's true. Michael Carrick still yet to lose a match over these two reigns as Manchester United manager. And of course, Crystal Palace, they have internal issues. The manager and the fans, they are going at it. And also their win against Wolves wasn't that convincing. I mean, Arokodare lost that penalty. Also
Very
suffered
poor penalty.
poor penalty. Also suffered unfortunate racist abuse, which we hope it will end in this beautiful game of football. So, but speaking to the game, Crystal Palace, I think United have everything to go past them. considering their recent form as well, and considering these internal issues that we have highlighted. United, when you look at how we played against West Ham and how we played against Everton, and we always say United give us big teams. It's almost like a walk in the park at times. Not of course, not a walk in the park, but you see the motivation, you see the focus, you see the seriousness in the match. But when you give us this mid-table team, low-table team, we seem to struggle. I really don't know why. Against Everton, they rested for 2 weeks to play that match, and that first half was even nothing to write home about. Everton, I would even say, were like the better team in 90 minutes. So that United now, to be honest, I mean, I'm not sure what is going on with that team, especially when we play against these mid-table teams. But magic from Benjamin Sesko, I think I hope to see that magic again. I hope he finally gets to even start. I mean, what test do you want this guy to do to actually start a Premier League match? I mean, he has delivered us against Fulham, came off the bench again. In the past 6 matches, he has scored 5 goals. What else do you want him to do to actually start, for crying out loud? So I hope he gets to start against Crystal Palace, and I think we have everything to go and win against Crystal Palace. I just hope that everything just aligns in our favor. So I see a 2-0 United win against Crystal Palace.
I mean, I agree with you slightly that before you go ahead, before you give us 1 minute, Brown, before you go, I agree that the Everton game wasn't also the best I had seen, from this Manchester United side, especially under Carrick. Speaking to Shevko starting, I think that the mojo is bringing him off the bench. Same with Konya at the moment. So maybe that's something that's working. Brown, you can go ahead.
Yeah, that's exactly what
1 minute, please.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to point out. Of course, a lot of us, we tend to glide towards, let's bring in Sesko because he's scoring in the last couple of games. Good and fine. I also believe strongly that one of the reasons he's actually getting the number of goals he's getting is because he's coming off the bench, And then, again, all of these things we need to look at is the balance of the team. If you have to bring in Sesko, one thing will happen is either you are taking out Ahmad or you are taking out Konya for the first half. And at the end of the day, what you want to try to do is to make sure that this team is balanced. So the balance of the team will also be affected if we choose to start Benjamin Sesko. So I strongly believe that since it is working the way it is working now, let us just stay with it. Let us stay with it. Do we struggle against...
But I don't think it's working because, to be honest, we struggled against West Ham. We struggled against Everton as well. So I wouldn't say it's really working as such. And the wins that we had, like against City, Arsenal, I would say it was just because of the caliber of matches then. Like the emotions were high. We needed to prove a point. But now that those things have started dwindling, now talking about the technicalities of the manager, technicalities of the players, the abilities and stuff like that. I mean, Everton, for crying out loud, we should be beating Everton like 3-0. We should be beating West Ham. West Ham is like a 18th position or 17th position.
This thing again, it's about psychology, right? Even before now, if you recall, Manchester United, we have even under previous managers, Ruben Amorim, before Amorim, Eric Ten Hag. You remember we went to Bournemouth and we lost by 4-0 in the away to Bournemouth. So my point is that against smaller teams, it is something that haunts us. Big teams, we are going to play fantastic. I don't even get scared when we are playing big teams. But when we are playing these support smaller teams, we struggle. It's not about the Michael Carrick tenure. It's not about the Rubens tenure. But this is something that has been ongoing for a long time. So it is gradually, I honestly believe that we will begin to get to that place where we now begin to wash away, all these smaller teams. Perhaps a better manager that has the technicality and all that. But again, for the fact that we want to maintain Champions League spots, as long as Sheffield is coming off the bench, almost guaranteeing us a goal, I would rather we keep it that way for the balance of the team. That's my point.
Yeah, that's point well made. Liverpool versus West Ham. AY, quickly, what do you think would be the outcome of this match? Liverpool against West Ham.
Okay, so I still, because Liverpool, they are also fighting for, they also need to qualify for top 4. They've tried They won their last game against
Nottingham Forest.
Nottingham Forest. Is it Nottingham Forest?
Yeah.
Forest.
Yeah. Last minute they scored one. Yeah, I remember it with that. I know he cost Nottingham Forest the game because Liverpool scored the first goal. It was offside. They ruled it out. Then they had to score. What this guy that scored? This is their midfielder.
McAllister.
McAllister scored. So
That goal too was also very weird. Why was that given as amber or whatever they called it? That was also very, very weird decision. But anyways, go ahead.
Of course. So this. It's what's the name? The league will always be the league. What is given this week will not be given next.
Very inconsistent.
The inconsistency of the league. So they are playing West Ham. West Ham, they are currently 18th, so they are also battling relegation. They have 25 points, and Nottingham Forest have 27 points. So West Ham, Nottingham Forest, Tottenham. So it's going to be a difficult game for Liverpool, but Liverpool should win. West Ham. 2-1 win for Liverpool.
Shola, what do you think? Liverpool, West Ham.
I mean, even though I don't like Liverpool as much, but when the West Ham players decided to visit the Baba and started making jests of United strand, since that time, I have taken it upon myself that I will be watching them until they relegate. So, I mean, you could. I mean, it was not even a win. They didn't even beat us. You could have that draw in, and you could be respectful because you knew that it was important for United. I mean, we're not saying you should give us the match, but making jest of us, like that guy going to visit the Baba, the players now taking picture. I felt like it was unnecessary. Plus, you are still battling relegation for crying out loud. Focus on getting out of that relegation battle.
It was good for the screens now.
It was good for the screens, though. So. It was good. The banter was good. I mean, I feel what Arsenal's feel when they banter against them, it's not easy to be at the other end of the banter.
I mean, they will feel it again this season.
It's not easy to be at the other end of the banter. But, I mean, aside from that, Liverpool, of course, they are the better side. The position in the table also tells you everything you need to know. They are the better side, and it's Anfield, So, Liverpool will definitely win this one. With convincingly. This is not like Nottingham Forest that they almost escaped by 1-0. But this one, I believe Liverpool will win convincingly against West Ham. I see 3-0, 4-1 kind of victory. So, yeah.
We'll see. Liverpool that struggled against Nottingham Forest will beat West Ham 4-0.
Yes.
We'll see.
Brian wants to chip in something.
Okay, go ahead. 1 minute. Go ahead.
60 seconds. Thank you. Now, the reason Liverpool, yes, you see Liverpool to win against West Ham. That would only happen if Arne Slot stops pissing around. And what I mean by that is that nepotism Arne Slot is doing at Liverpool. It is until Arne Slot stops it that he's going to get against West Ham. Otherwise, don't forget that West Ham is currently in form. Even though they are seated on the table, they are currently in form. They have not lost in their last 2 games. So when you look at this team, forget the position of the table. Liverpool has been struggling. In fact, under Arne Slot, Liverpool has had the worst record since 1953. 10 losses in 13 games. Arne Slot is prolific. And it's what do they call it? Nepotic, whatever. Until Arne Slot.
Nepotistic, or maybe I don't know.
Yeah, that word. Until Arne Slot desist from that word, that's when he will even stand a chance to even win against West Ham. So, I mean, and it could also be the best time for West Ham to grab their 5th win at Anfield because they have only won Liverpool at Anfield for only 4 times in 125 years. So this could also be a good time to grab some more points. And that would be good for us that are sitting on 4th on the table so that those behind us just keep drawing games or losing games. Good for us, good for our business.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's what I wanted.
I can bet your phone on it that Liverpool will win that match. Not my phone.
Why not your own phone? Also, there's Leeds versus Manchester City. This game also directly influences the match between Arsenal and Chelsea. Of course, for the table toppers. AY, what are your thoughts?
Okay, so it's going to be an easy game for City. Straight. Let me just be straight and open about it. It's Leeds. They are currently 15th, and City are also and obviously contending for the league. City have won like 4 games in their last 5 matches, and they've won quite convincingly with Alan now picking up the role of assist. Because there are other players that can now score, so he's beginning to play as a team player. And while on the other hand, Leeds have only won one of their last 5. Anyways, they drew against Chelsea. Chelsea is a big team. They drew away against Villa 2-2. And these are actually away games. Now they are at home, Ellen Road, to Manchester City. Liverpool drew at that same Ellen Road 3-3. However, when City played the first leg at City's home, City won 3-2. So I see, because that was the same thing we thought Leeds were going to disturb Arsenal. Arsenal went there, demolished them 4-0. So I see City, they have good players. Semenyo is there, Foden is there, Silva is there. This guy that they brought from defense to midfield and scored both their goals,
O'Reilly.
O'Reilly. I don't
O'Reilly,
know.
yeah. It
That's one
was
thing I
left
would give.
back to left wing.
That's one thing I will give Pep. If something is not working, he's willing to make changes. That's the difference between Pep and
Absolutely.
Arteta. Arteta will just be stuck. Arteta, we boast of this the most robust squad in the entire league, but he doesn't use his squad. He does, but see, City, you will see him bring in, even if a player is not playing good and the player is actually a very good player, you will see Guardiola will bench him. Now they've added this new defender Gay, and Gay has been fantastic since he
Very
started.
calm.
Gay has brought calm into that defense. Same with Semenyo. So we are approaching the business end of the season, and Manchester City, they've done it, and they've done it over and over again. So they know how it works. They have that mentality that Arsenal players currently don't have. Now their new signings have now rejuvenated the team. So I just see City winning 2-0 City. Of course, I would like an upset, but I don't see it happening. So I see City winning 2-0.
I think just speaking to the last thing you said, I'm very, very, in fact, it's very obvious that the transfers that Man City made during the January transfer window, those transfers were made to boost their chances of winning the league. And let me tell you for free, they are good signings. Gay in that back line, Semenyo, and they are working. Did Arsenal make such transfers? No. And this is perhaps this is always the problem. There are some certain decisions.
Okay, you can finish your line of thought.
Oh, I wanted to say that there are some certain decisions that clubs are supposed to make clubs that are gunning for the title are supposed to make in the January transfer window. Perhaps getting a second winger or a second striker or an extra midfielder, not necessarily buying 5 players, of course, when you're not Nottingham Forest, right? But there are certain decisions that you have to make in the January transfer window. Perhaps this is what will haunt Arsenal again this season. Anyway.
I agree and I don't agree with you, because Shola raised this point a couple of podcasts ago, that this is that little tilt, that little action that Manchester City did might have actually worked in their favor. The reason I agree with you would be, yes, a player like Lookman. Player like Lookman will have just that one player would have destabilized defenders, and we actually need someone. Maybe, and he can play right wing, can play left wing. So if Bukayo is
play
not
anywhere in the forward position,
anywhere in the front.
If Bukayo is not performing, you bring him up. If Martinelli is injured or Trossard is injured, you can always start Bukayo. And always start.
And he has been in the Premier League before.
Yes.
And you can see his numbers at Madrid. So he's someone that would hit the ground running. But the reason why I may not agree with you is because fans will always be fans. We already have at least two players per position. We're the same fans that when Ateta signed, no Ateta, when this our Andre Beta signed Mosquera, we're like, why are you signing a defender? He went ahead to sign Nkapi. We're the one that we're calling for. Nkapi is now the one starting at left back. He's benching Calafiori, he's benching Luis Kelly. Luis Kelly that was our starting left back last season. So the fact that okay, we already have players that can play in these positions, and I think another mistake that Arsenal did was sending this guy out on loan, Nwaneri. Nwaneri in little games,
That guy is
maybe
balling. I see he's balling at the moment.
is he balling? His first
Oh,
game
maybe
he scored.
initially.
Yeah,
Yes,
his
yes.
first game he scored. His second and third games they had to sub him at 45 minutes. So and they changed their coach again. The Zerbi left, so he's
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
battling a lot there at Marseille. But he could have actually the one that we are trying to look for 10 that will start. Modegaard is playing nonsense today. We are bringing in Eze. At some point, Bukayo played 10. He would have slotted perfectly, even if it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes, when we want to probably see off games and we don't want to defend. He would probably pose that threat of going forward. So I don't agree with you because we add players and we currently have players, at least we have two players in each position. See Jesus now. So if you would imagine him bringing another player. Jesus is there. You just bought a striker that has started firing. So how would you want to balance the team? What contract do you want to give the guy that will not sound or look weird to people that are currently in? So
It doesn't matter. What is
it's
most
whatever.
important is that you win the league. It does not matter whatever
Exactly.
contract
So
you give the player.
That's the thing for me is
but the
that
thing is we are talking like this because if it eventually works, hindsight. We don't know.
Well,
So
we'll see. We'll
yeah,
see.
let's see.
I mean,
But the only reason why the league is not yet over
Because of us now.
is because Manchester City made those signings.
No,
Yes.
it's because of
Of
Arsenal.
course.
It's not because Man City
No,
made
It's
those
not because of
Man
Arsenal.
City have been winning their games too.
Should I
Yeah,
tell
it's
you?
because they made those
Arsenal lost
signings.
against United. Arsenal drew against Wolves.
Because
But
if
City won their own
if
games.
Arsenal lost, the City that started this season, they could have lost too.
Mhm,
That
mhm.
Newcastle, look at how City played. City played Newcastle almost 3 times and they won all.
So
It's because
what
of
I'm
the
saying is
signings.
you are saying
There's no
Because of the signings.
you are saying the reason why City is still in this competition is because of their signings.
Race.
Their signings came
Yes.
January, and all these
Mhm.
matches
That's what
that
I'm saying.
Arsenal drew and dropped points started January.
What I'm saying is,
Man
as
City's
Arsenal
form also dipped slightly in between.
as Arsenal were dropping points,
points.
Man
City
City
was gaining.
before January could have dropped point too. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
it wouldn't have made any difference.
Shaky, Aitnuri
But
not
as
really playing so well.
Arsenal were dropping points, as Man City were not dropping as much points, and it's because of those signings that they made.
Yeah. And again, it's very. I feel like AY said, this is the business end of the league, right? And trust me, if Arteta does not win this league, regardless of what happens, they are going to take off his head. He's actually going to. He will
He will
understand.
take himself out.
He will take himself out. Now, the reason is because in the last 4 seasons, right, City has secured the most points in the last 12 games of the season. And those are the stages where they are able to now clinch the title 4 consecutive times. I mean, the most recent one in 2022-2023, they secured 31 points in 12 games out of a possible 36. And Arsenal was 10 points lower in the last 12 games. So again, those are like instances of, will you, if you remember the 21-22 season when Arsenal secured only 18 points in 12 and City secured 30 out of a possible 36. So this stage is where it really matters, to be honest. And then if Arsenal does not win this Premier League, fans do not even care about the Carling Cup as much. They would not want Arteta to be there. And I feel like, yes, you could argue that nobody is wrong in hindsight, which is true. But then again, could Arsenal have signed someone in January? I feel like if Arteta wanted that, with the current board he has, they will do anything Arteta wants for him. So if he had requested for perhaps a player that will come and give competition to Trossard and Martinelli, perhaps we
You
never.
got Thiago is one of the highest.
But they're not going to. Brentford will
striker.
not sell him in January
So
I mean,
because they have problems of their own. They don't want to relegate.
You wouldn't have known. Maybe with 100 million, maybe they could have sold him. You
100
never
Arsenal
know.
plunge 100 million.
That's not for we are.
No.
but now buy Declan Rice, one of the most important players for the league for that.
But
One, that
Declan Rice
was
has
Declan Rice had to wait till the end of the season.
I'm saying that Arsenal, hopefully they are able to, clinch this one.